Hi, this is going to be slightly different. I want to show you how you can set up Folding at Home or Boink to help with research of coronavirus COVID-19 virus. There's a Reddit thread that I'm going to link to in the description, which describes the process for setting up Folding at Home or Boink Rosetta at Home in detail. All the instructions are in the Reddit message. So to set up Folding at Home, first you have to go over to the site, download the installer and then install it. Once you have it installed, you're gonna have this colorful icon in your system tray, and it might end up in here. Or once you click it or right click it, head over to Advanced Control. It's gonna bring up a window like this. Go over to Configure on the top left corner. Then in the Identity tab, enter the team number 236269. The next step is optional. You can set up a username over here. It's optional. You can do this anonymously, or you can register. I usually tend to register everywhere. I just like to authorize and have an account. So I did register a username. And if you do so, you would have to click here. It will redirect you to this page where you enter your new login and your email, and they will send you the passkey, and then you enter it here. And then hit save, and basically you're set. As you can see, there's two windows in here, folding slots and work queue, and you might have several entries here. In my case, one is CPU and the other one is GPU. Folding at Home can use both CPU and GPU, but it runs separate tasks, separate task for CPU and separate for GPU. And for each of them separately, you can control with these buttons. You can, start folding, you can pause, and you can finish. When you press finish, it will only stop after the current task completes. It also has this folding power slider, which I haven't tried. I just kept it on medium. Now, Folding at Home adds itself to Windows Startup Apps list. So if you want to disable that and not have it auto start each time you start Windows, depending on the Windows version, you can head over to Settings, Startup Apps, and find it there. The entry is hideconsole.exe. This is the Folding at Home auto start control panel entry. Or you can go over to Task Manager Startup tab and disable it from there. hideconsole.exe. If you want to start it from the programs list, just type in Folding at Home, and there it is. Now there's also a web control which uses your browser to show pretty much the same information. It doesn't always work. For the past few days it didn't work properly, so I don't really use it. I just use the advanced window, this window. There's also a stats page. You can go over to folding.extremeoverclocking.com, and in a team user search, paste the team number, and it will take you to the team page. You can see how well the team is doing and numbers and whatnot. You can go over to team users list, try to find yourself there just for interest, to see how well you're doing. It's kind of an incentive to see how well you're doing, how others are doing. Anyway, you can also follow Greg Bowman at Dr. Greg Bowman on Twitter, or Folding at Home. You can also go to foldingathome.org news section, and they have a bunch of articles that describes what they're doing and why they're doing. In short, all this computational data will help them to, and I'm quoting here, to hunt for new therapeutic opportunities. In other words, this could potentially lead to discovery of new treatments for the infected. So the other project is Rosetta at Home, which is ran with Boink client. if you scroll down to one of the comments, it describes what's the difference between them. But basically, Folding at Home uses CPU and GPU. Rosetta at Home can only use CPU. They're doing it slightly different. Rosetta at Home kind of predicts how the proteins fold, apparently. So myself, I just run Folding at Home at this computer, and I do run Rosetta at Home Boink on another computer. So to download it, once again, the link is in the Reddit post. Press on download Boink and then download Boink Windows version. Once you've downloaded it, now let me pause Folding at Home for a second. Just type in Boink Manager. Now I'll already have it set up, but the first time you launch it, it will ask you to authorize. It will ask you to register a new account. Now, once you've done that, go over to Tools, Add Project, and in the list, select Rosetta at Home. Now, I've already done that, so I don't have to do that. And then, as the Reddit post says, go over to this link and search for r/COVID-19 to find the team. Here it is. And or alternatively, you can just press on this link. You'll go directly to the team, and you have to be authorized, I believe, to do that. And there will be a button that says join the team. Now, since I've already joined, I don't have this button, but if I click on my username on the top right corner, it opens up my account, and here it says member of the team are COVID-19. So once you've done that, it should start working. So I haven't used Boink as much as Folding at Home, so I don't know much else. And just like Folding at Home, Boink adds itself into the startup apps list, so you might want to disable that. And one other thing, obviously this does draw power, so your electricity bill, it will affect that. And depending on your computer, and especially if you live in the same room and sleep in the same room, you might want to consider optimizing it. If you overclock it, maybe don't overclock it. And myself, I just personally, I downclock it to keep it from getting too hot and overstressed. So for a GPU, what I did is in MSI Afterburner, which is free, you can download and install it. I just set the power limit to 65. Just press enter 65, press enter, and then click on this check mark. You can even save it as a profile if you click on the save icon and then click on one of the digits. And then you can easily apply this profile just by clicking on it. You can revert the settings by clicking this reset button. And you can then reapply by clicking on the profile and then clicking on the checkmark apply button. So what it does, it limits how much power the GPU can draw. So it helps to keep the temperatures within check, while it will still do plenty of performance. Let's put it that way. Now for CPU, what you can do is, if you go to power options in the legacy control panel, you can create a new power plan and limit the maximum CPU output in percentages in there, and limit the maximum CPU state there. So for example, I'm gonna create a new power plan from high performance. I'm gonna name it high 85 and go to change plan settings, change advanced power settings. And if you scroll down, set the maximum processor state to whatever. I'm gonna set it to 85, and then make sure that the minimum processor state is below that. I just set it to 5, which is like minimum. And now basically you're limiting your maximum frequency of the CPU to whatever, the percentage corresponds to. So this Intel runs at like 4.5, 4.7 normally. But with 85% power plan, I'm limiting it to 3.5 effectively. Obviously that will only work if you didn't lock your multiplier or disable power settings in your BIOS. Anyway, I've been running this folding at home with these limits for the last couple of days. I either run it daily when I am away from computer, or I leave it overnight when I sleep next to it. And with these limits, as I said, with a 65% power limit in Afterburner, this is the GTX 1080 Ti graphics card, and I used to use 65% CPU limit through power options, and now I've upped it up to 85%, and I'm still able to somewhat keep the temperatures beneath 70 degrees Celsius centigrade, which is reasonable and it's manageable, and I don't have to ramp the fans to crazy high speed or open the window, and I can still contribute without the computer becoming a pain in the ass. So in closing, I think it's great that should I say tech-savvy internet community can contribute to research of this virus and possibly, discovery of treatments. So if you do have some hardware, or perhaps hardware that you don't use, that it's idle, and it's feasible to you in terms of electricity bill to run it, then consider joining in, because every little bit helps, and perhaps in the end it all makes a difference and it's all for the best. So thanks for watching.